points and 18 rebounds in a first-game blowout of the Tar Heels. Add his presence inside, and it was all Wake Forest. After that, they sailed through a grueling schedule and rose to as high as number 2 in the polls with excellent team play. But Dave Odom and company have hit a nasty bump in the road, losing 2 of the last 4, including the three-pointer that wasn't versus NC State. That loss cost them first place in the ACC. The Heels will try to add to the misery index tonight. The Dean Dome for one of the ACC's most important matchups of the year. Number 4 Wake Forest against number 12 North Carolina. Wake, the league leader all year, has fallen behind Duke and has to win tonight to stay even in the loss column. If North Carolina can come out with a victory, the Heels would pull themselves even further up the ladder and to within 1 game of second place. Good evening, everybody. Mike Patrick along with Dick Vitale. It's great to have you with us. All year we have assumed that Wake Forest would be a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament, but one more loss, and that would be in jeopardy. My question is, can they bounce back psychologically from that heartbreaking, controversial loss to NC State?
Well, they can certainly bounce back, Mike. They got a dynamic player, and certainly Tim Duncan. They need a lot of help from other people who are really going to have to be supportive. It can't be a one-man show where everybody becomes the Kodak man and takes pictures. But you're right about the jeopardy of the number 1 seed. If Duke goes out and beats UCLA on Sunday, and they lose here today, the Dukies are right there possibly for a number 1 seed.
Turnaround for North Carolina has been remarkable. An 0-3 start. They've won 7 of their last 9. I think this is the litmus test. How good will North Carolina be?
Well, if they're going to win today, number 1, they're going to need a big performance out of Antoine Jamison. Jamison's going to have to become a major factor. And to be a factor, he's going to have to get in transition. We see him right here. Now he's trying to sneak out, but now watch Duncan recovers. Now we're going to get Jamison into a half-court game. There he is matched up with Tim Duncan on the inside, and that was a mismatch, baby. Duncan dominated. So Jamison's going to have to get easy scores, and the only way that'll happen if he can get out in transition and get some layups. They'll need a big game out of Antoine Jamison to get a W here tonight.
And Duncan totally dominated that first game. 23 points, 18 rebounds, 4 block shots. Back with the starting lineup. Wake Forest and North Carolina after this.
When I started losing my hair, it bothered me, and I finally got to the point where I just didn't want to think about it anymore. But I didn't want to do anything until I knew I could get the look that I wanted. The most important thing to me was the hairline. It had to look natural.
Hair Club for Men is proud to announce a technological breakthrough. Call our toll-free number now to receive your free copy of Hair Club's exciting new technology brochure.
I just love the idea that I can get out of the shower, towel dry my hair, blow dry it, and I'm gone.
So call now and get Hair Club's new technology brochure. You'll see before and after photos of men like yourself who have already experienced the benefits of this innovative technology.
I'd seen too many people that had tried surgery or products that promised to grow their hair back again. I wanted something that was simple, non-surgical, that would give me the results that I was really after.
Call our toll-free number for your free brochure, because Hair Club for Men really can make a difference.
Yeah, we do causes. If it's something we truly believe in our hearts, we get involved.
In this league, there's something brewing. You can see it in Patrick Ewing.
When it's an extra step he's taking, it's a rule he is breaking.
It's in the book, page 35, section 14. The college guys don't do it. Plant your pivot, but there's nothing to it. Don't walk, you're the pros after all. Don't walk, come on, refs, make the call. Don't walk, big men, you know who you are. Don't walk, do it for the young ones. Don't walk, extra steps will give you bunions. Don't walk, it started with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Don't walk, Michael Jordan can walk on air. Don't walk, but on the floor it's just not fair. Don't walk, what would Naismith say today?
Welcome back to Chapel Hill for Wake and Carolina. Let's take a look at the lineup. First for Wake Forest. Perimeter shooting is always critical for the Deacons. Jerry Braswell, number 3 in the ACC in three-point shooting. He will have his opportunities, and he must convert. For North Carolina, the Tar Heels have been shooting much better lately, especially Shammond Williams. In his last 10 games, hitting almost 60% from three-point range, and is now number 2 in the ACC from behind the arc. Number 4, Wake Forest. Number 12, North Carolina at home. And we'll be back for the tip out of the ACC in just a moment. More than 22,000 on hand here at the Dean Smith Center in Chapel Hill. This is arguably the biggest game of the year for North Carolina to see how far the comeback has really come. This series has been dominated by North Carolina, 137-55, but Wake Forest with Tim Duncan has won 4 of the last 5, although only one of them 2 years ago here at the Smith Center. That's when Duncan and Randolph Childress combined for 51 points to beat Dean Smith and Carolina.
I'll tell you something, the last 2 matchups, Mike, it's been tough. Wake Forest has won by the margin of 24 points. They have really put the blitz on North Carolina. Look at Davey Odom. 3 times he's been Coach of the Year in the ACC in the last 6 years, and he handled it with such class, losing that heartbreaker on the controversial call by the officials on the three-point shot against North Carolina State.
There's the legend, Dean Smith, now in his 36th year, 868 victories. Only needs 9 more to pass Adolph Rupp. And there was one point this year where nobody gave him any chance to get close to it. But if they can stay on this run, who knows? Might even get it by the end of this year. There's the player of the year in the conference, the player of the year in the country, the player of the year in just about any league you want to pick.
I'll tell you one thing, it's been a mismatch with everybody else out there. Certainly first-team All-American. He's my choice with Rafe LaFrentz. Also, I got up front with Mr. LaFrentz, Keith Van Horn, backcourt Brevin Knight, and also Chauncey Billups. That's my All-American team, Mike. But we're seeing the best of the best right here tonight.
Carter will jump center against Duncan. Carolina controls. Shammond Williams, whose shooting has really been on target. In fact, Carolina as a team, with Vince Carter shooting much better, has been on fire just like that.
Here's Vince Carter, a little drive over the lane, a little floating jump shot. Hey, Swicker's playing. There was some doubt whether he was going to play because of a concussion.
Woods, the big pressure. Outside the Braswell, he and Rutland will open up the guard. Peral is the other forward. Rutland with a reverse, it won't go. Jamison with the first rebound.
Jamison so quick to the basketball. Great rebounder with great quickness. With that ball reversal out of their passing game.
This is Swicker. Let's see if he goes against Duncan. He does with a baseline jump shot. Knocked out of bounds out to the Tar Heels.
Tar Heels have been coming from behind. The last 2 games, they were down big to Georgia Tech. They were down 16 and came back and won. And they were down 9 with 4 minutes to go against NC State and came back and won. Both were on the road, though.
That's more like the old days for North Carolina, what they are used to seeing.
Their only loss here is they had a 22-point lead and lost to Maryland with 14 to go in the game. There's that passing game. A lot of cutting. Always looking to reverse the ball.
Elijah doesn't look for a shot that much. Carter will, and Carter scores the first 4 for the Heels.
I'll tell you what, Vince Carter, Mike, you see the making of a star. I really believe that kid can become a really special player. He's got the great legs, cut.
Struggled a year ago, as you might remember, averaged only 7.5 points a game. As a sophomore, he's up to 12, and as Dick said, showing potential to go much higher than that. Duncan cross-court to Peral into Woods. The 3 big guys on that front line. Rutland for 3. Got it.
Nice swing into the basketball. And that's vital. When they're making their threes, they become almost unbeatable.
Shammond Williams brings it up against pressure.
Davey Odom said, we got to get help from other people. We can't all stand around and watch Tim Duncan.
Williams driving, got the ball caught behind his back and turned it over. Rutland will bring it up against Williams. Woods, jump hook.
Woods got inserted in his starting lineup against Clemson. Replaced Sean Allen to give him a lot of size on the inside with Perall and Duncan. Tough to match up with them.
7-1, 6-10, 6-10 across that front line.
That's an NBA front line. There's Mr. Jamison.
Antoine Jamison, the second leading scorer and second leading rebounder in the ACC, makes it 6-3 Tar Heel.
And a lot to be an all-ACC player.
Into the lane, and Wake Forest finding some points out of Rutland. He has all 5.
Rutland hooked up in high school, as we said so many times, with Allen Iverson. What a backcourt that must have been out at Hampton, Virginia. You talk about electricity.
Duncan with a rebound, hands it to Rutland after the miss by Jamison.
The one thing you want to do against Wake, you want to try to get some transition baskets. You want to get up and down the floor to beat Duncan before he sets up. You want to kick that ball out.
Rutland actually did the same thing to his teammate that time. He took the quick three. Shammond Williams for 3. The long rebound to Woods.
I think a key player we're going to see in this game is Ed Cota. And here he is. He's getting ready to come in. He leads the ACC in assists, and he has really been playing well. He'd be my choice as Diaper Dandy of the year in the ACC.
Rookie of the week twice in a row the last 2 weeks. And he's made a difference with their offense. Braswell, Duncan trying to get Zwicker to come out on a man-to-man, then drive. Rimmed out on it.
Zwicker trying to push him away, trying to make him shoot over the top with that great size at 7'3".
Dick, I'm a little surprised they come out and put Zwicker on Duncan man-to-man early.
I am too, but I think they're trying to bother him a little bit with size. It doesn't matter because whoever's going to check him, he's going to get 20 and 15 before the night's over.
Carter will try a 3. The long rebound, the heels control. And Shammond Williams will reset it.
What you have to do against Wake, you have to shut everybody else down. You can't really just concentrate on Duncan. That was the philosophy of Gary Williams when they beat him.
Slicker with a hook shot won't go. Wake Forest with a chance to run, but they rarely do.
They like to execute out of the half-court game. Woods only had a deuce against NC State. He's got to be a little bit more productive on the interior.
They'd like to get some more productivity out of
Perall.
Ricky Perall as well. He just doesn't look for a shot. Braswell misses his 20-footer.
As you said, Braswell's 3rd in the league in field goal percentage, shooting the 3. Number 1 is Trajan Langdon, who had that magnificent performance everybody was talking about tonight. Last night was brilliant.
Carter will try the 3 and drain it.
I'll tell you, see why he was Mr. Basketball in high school. He was the Mr. Basketball in Florida. They wanted him here. They wanted him at Duke. They wanted him all over. But he said, I'm going to be a Tar Heel.
Vince Carter leading the charge early, 9-5 Carolina.
Our first matchup was close at 27-25, and then Zwicker got his 3rd foul, and they went on an unbelievable spurt, Wake Forest, to start the second half.
Shammond Williams goes right by Rutland. Woods is waiting for him and commits the foul.
Poor job defensively by Wake Forest. Nobody communicating, nobody getting back. There's a look at Vince Carter right now. Going to get the screen. He says, thanks a lot, buddy. That's one of the 3 Musketeers. Antoine Jamison with the screen. To free him to go nothing but nylon. Now look at Shammond. He's going to drive the baseline. No one rotates over. Too slow rotating over. Here's the contact. Shammond's a great story, right? Because he wasn't heavily recruited. Played in high school at World Code.
He would be number 3 in the ACC if he had enough free throws to qualify, because he's an excellent free throw shooter at 81.7. And he promptly misses the first.
I like those kids that become diamonds that a lot of people don't have really high on all the recruiting charts, but they go out with great work ethic. And that, to me, is a key. Goolsby comes in. He provides a three-point shooter, shooting all his points. When you look at him, 71% come from the three-point range for Goolsby.
Shammond Williams with a rare 0 for 2.
He gets an 0 for. Wow. We're getting an 0 for how high up we are up here in his booth. I'm counting on your eyes, Mike. You got to help me tonight.
A little tough from up here, Dick. Duncan gives it off to Allen. Allen has the shot partially blocked on the way up. Sean Allen not very strong with his shot inside. Carolina trying to run. Shot blocked. Duncan wants to go back the other way. They have a 4-on-2. and they don't get anything out of a 4-on-2, and then they throw it away.
They look very sloppy. They really look sloppy. Their rhythm, they look like psychologically they're not playing with the kind of confidence that we saw early. And I don't understand why. They only lost 3 games, and 2 were controversial. They're having a great year.
Timeout on the court, a 4-point lead for North Carolina. Rolling. North Carolina with an early 4-point lead on number 4 Wake Forest. 13:43 to go first half. ACC action will continue on Saturday with the Deuces. 2 great matchups at 1:30. These same Demon Deacons in Charlottesville to go against the Virginia Cavaliers. Then at 4 o'clock, the North Carolina Tar Heels will travel to Maryland to take on number 14, the Terrapins. The Terps of Gary Williams won tonight. 5 ACC teams in the top 14 in the nation.
I'll tell you one thing, it doesn't get easier for North Carolina. After that game when they go down to Maryland, we look at Tim Duncan in the first half, only attempted 1 shot, 3 rebounds. But the bottom line is you look at North Carolina, this game becomes really a must because they got road trips coming up with Maryland, and then you and I will be down at Clemson. They got Clemson next Wednesday.
If they don't, it's hard to say if they don't win this game, things get bleak, but I think that's the actual picture.
That's life in the ACC. I'll tell you, that Clemson team very physical, and Buckner outstanding, and McIntyre having a little tough time shooting the ball in their 2 losses that they've had recently.
This is Ed Cota, the freshman point guard from Brooklyn, New York. He leads the ACC in assists, and he has started to look for his shot, which has really helped his overall game.
Well, they rotate Duncan on Jamison now. See, that's where Duncan gets the advantage in the half-court game. He can negate the great offensive ability of number 33. He's playing him head-to-head.
Maktar Jai, number 4, is in North Carolina's lineup. This is Cota. This is something he didn't do earlier in the year, and here is a foul underneath. And it's going to go against, I believe, Vince Carter.
Ed Cota's high school coaches here. Rock Eisenberg talked to him today. He's so proud. He said Ed's brother's here. He got 9 relatives here from out of New York City. Cota, who I think will be the freshman of the year in the ACC, Mike. I can't think of anybody better.
Well, Lauren Woods has been a 3-time ACC Rookie of the Week, but he has certainly gotten less playing time than Cota.
Ed Thornton's having a good year down at NC State.
Duncan tries a bounce pass, and here's a reach-around foul on Okulaja. That will be his first.
He did a great job, Okulaja, when they beat Wake Forest here last year. In the last 8 minutes, he held Duncan to 2 field goals. They were down 18, North Carolina, and came back and won by 6 over here last year.
And Dean Smith has always praised Okulaja's defense. He really likes him as a defensive player.
And he screens, and he does a lot of the intangibles.
Here's Duncan working against Zwicker, using his strength. Here's Perrault with a jump shot.
I think Duncan's going to start to have to assert himself offensively, Mike. He's going to have to stop being this kid who's so unselfish. There comes a time he's got to take charge.
Jai will go inside.
He's happy. He started his career away. In fact, he was a roommate. He was a roommate of Mr. Duncan, who was almost like an afterthought when he came from St. Croix. And Jai was the big name from Oak Hill Academy.
Dick, you're absolutely right. He was the #1 guy in that recruiting class. Ended up going to Michigan. Here's a foul on Zwicker as Duncan started around him. And the big senior reached out and committed the personal foul. That's his first.
We're going to watch the wall enter downside of Maktar. He gets the head fake and he gets the All-American. Oh, he gets the All-American to leave his feet. And look at Maktar. I know he feels like $1 million right now. He's all pumped up. Well, Gus was saying, nice play, Maktar. Exactly what we need, a little offense inside.
He has only averaged 2.3 points a game.
He's really contributed a lot more recently, though, defensively, rebounding, screening.
There's Okulaja hustling outside to knock a pass away. The Wake Forest guards, in their defense, none of them are true point guards. They are all shooting guards who have had to play the point, particularly Rutland, who has worked very hard to develop his ball handling. And now, as he goes out, we'll see Braswell go to the point and work outside with Goolsby.
And both guys, Braswell and Rutland, have had a battle, some serious physical ailments. An ACL for Rutland, a broken foot for Braswell. That rehab alone is tough.
This is a foul away from the ball. Davion Shammond Williams for holding.
They've had a magnificent season all year, though. Wait, 2 heartbreaking losses, the controversial 3 by Profit and the controversial 3 by Harrison in North Carolina State.
Mel, you were incredible. Nobody's ever made creamy caramel sound so good. And the way you say roasted peanuts. Oh, Mel, just picturing them together. I had to do something about it.
I love it when you talk candy to me.
What you want is a payday.
I know a tip of a red rat, fun with the goddamn punk metal. I'm on the level. Move over, yeah. Move over, yeah. Don't do it over. 'Cause that's over, yeah, yeah, yeah. Generation, next.
Next page, next stage, next craze, next wave.
Generation, next generation.
My grandfather, my father, both my brothers, my kids will probably have thinning hair. Losing my hair was probably one of the most traumatic experiences in my life. But the great thing about Rogaine is you can interrupt nature. You can stop it. It takes 30 seconds. Twice a day. It's easier than brushing your teeth or putting on deodorant. About 4 months later, my wife walked by and she just was, hey, wait a second. You're growing hair. Check this out. It's thicker. It's fuller. It's great. I'm a user for life.
North Carolina leads by 6. Wake Forest has scored 5 points in 8 minutes and 6 seconds of the first half. Rutland has all of them. All-American Tim Duncan has not scored, and neither have the rest of his teammates, saving Rutland.
They haven't scored since the 17-minute and 9-second mark.
Goolsby gets it inside to Duncan.
He's got to go to work and look at the basket, try to pick it up and score.
Over Zwicker. And Zwicker's not going to do anything silly. He's not going to jump up and try to block the shot.
Well, he got in foul trouble in that first matchup, and I really believe it affected North Carolina. They were hanging. It was 27-25. He got the third, and then it became blowout city.
Ed Cota showing much more confidence as his freshman season rolls toward its end.
He's matured a lot as a point guard.
Elijah, good penetration. Perall will pick up the foul.
Adamola with that drive, taking the ball on the wing in an isolation. Now Duncan on the interior. He's going to challenge the 7-3. He's going to take him right at the goal. And they're going to try to give a little help. And there's Zwicker trying to bump. Umbrella, but not enough for the All-American, the superstar. Now we're going to watch Adamola, a little one-on-one. He's going to go right by Perall. And there he is, that little drive, the rotation by Woods coming over a little bit too late.
Elijah at the line where he's a 60% free throw shooter. And uncharacteristically, North Carolina as a team, 65%. They are 6th in the ACC. For years and years and years, they always led as the #1 free throw shooting team.
Well, normally in the 70 percentile area. Adamola from out of Germany was discovered, actually, by Hebert Rodel, who played for Dean Smith. Michelangelo, the question is, can he get to 20 wins again for the 27th consecutive year? He's basically got 6 shots, for sure, guaranteed. He's got 4 left on a regular season, 1 guaranteed ACC tournament, and 1 in the Big Dance. But you and I know he's going to get a few more chances than that.
12-7 as we approach 11 minutes in the first half. Duncan, triple team down low, and he's fouled.
Duncan was so dominant defensively, Mike, against Missouri. Missouri had the big win over Kansas. They had a great player by the name of Kelly Thames, who had 24 points and 11 rebounds against Kansas. And against Duncan, he was 1 for 14 as we watch Duncan operating on the interior. That's one of the real Achilles heels he has, especially late. That hurt them big time against Duke when he missed 5 free throws.
And Dick, in the last half of the season, his free throw percentage has been steadily falling. Duncan was up in the 70s. Now he's down to 66-7. Missed both of those. Offensive rebound, but stolen by Cota. Ed Cota trying to run, and he lost the handle.
They're trying to beat Wake in transition. I believe that's one of the ways you got to beat him before Duncan sets up.
Braswell missed everything with a jump shot. Carolina's showing quick hands tonight.
So you got to beat them before they set up.
Jamison knocked out of his hands. The fans wanted a foul as Duncan
press. And when you're an All-American, you deserve to get away with them. You earned that right. Hello, Jam City. Backboard, up and away. Vince Carter.
Beautiful lob to Carter, who has 9. The lead is back to 7.
I love Vince Carter. I don't think he knows how good he can be. If he attacks the basket more, he'd be a special player. Look at him double up on the side.
Kicks it back out to Braswell. Now Duncan one-on-one, taken away by Jamison.
Jamison stripped him of the rock.
Both teams having a little trouble holding onto the ball. We have just hit 10 minutes. Wake Forest has scored 7 points in the first 10 minutes of the ball game.
It's a real testament, as you said a little bit earlier, after that loss to North Carolina State. No, bad angle.
But the follow is good. Carter now has 11 points.
Timeout, baby. A TO by Wake Forest. They're pumping chest here. Carter playing like a superstar. Hey, who said this crowd is quiet? They're up and they're going bananas today. Gonna watch Ed Cota with the great lob over the top. There's the catch and there's the jam. He's got great legs, Vince Carter. There's Quicker with the bad shot, but he said, that's not a shot. That's a pass. He said, that's a pass to my guy, Vince.
Dean Smith has seen his team win 7 of the last 9 games in the ACC after an 0-3 start. He has them up 16-7 here, and they certainly have the momentum in the home crowd up on their feet.
They were 0-3, and a lot of people said it was impossible for them to think about going 33 years in a row. Number 1, number 2, and number 3. But as you said, Mike, winning their last 4 in a row in the ACC, there's a possibility for that to happen again.
Dick, I can't imagine seeing Wake Forest bobbling the ball as many times as they have in the first half tonight. Almost every catch is not clean.
Yeah, they're not playing with attacking basketball. They're playing like very tentative right there.
More aggressive by Duncan that time, and the All-American center banks one off the glass.
He's got that little jump hook on the inside, protects the ball really well.
Shammond Williams, a little pull-up jump shot.
He's got great range as a shooter, and he's really improved shooting the basketball as he did there with a little dribble penetration.
Rutland brings it up against Williams. Braswell. Again, back into Duncan as they decided to go to the big guy. Missed that shot. It's knocked out of bounds out to the heel.
I got a feeling right now, though they will not admit it, that all the Dukies are cheering right now for North Carolina. But I don't think that happens too often.
About once a millennium.
Oh, I think they're cheering right now. They're saying, come on, Heels. They're tied in the loss column right now, Duke and Wake.
And that's all that counts. You can have everybody say, well, it's a one-game lead, but the loss column is the only thing that matters. Also, Elijah will try a 3. Another long rebound. Shammond Williams pulls this one down, and Carter buries one.
I'll tell you, Mike, they're out hustling him right now. When you get second shots like that, Davey Odom has to really be concerned with the aggressiveness that's being taken place right now by North Carolina. And his kids are not playing with that assertiveness.
Vince Carter has 14 of the 21 points. Lauren Woods muscles one up. It takes the tour around the rim and finally falls.
Good job by Lauren getting good post position.
Carter is feeling it.
Oh, is he in a rhythm right now? This might be really a coming out party for a star being born. I mean, Carter, he says, hey, Trajan, you did it yesterday, Mr. Langdon, for 34. Well, I'm going to have a magnificent performance tonight.
24-11 Heels, reach around foul called on Jamison, came over the top. You know, 2 on Antoine Jamison.
Mentioning Langdon's performance, if you look at Dean Smith, everybody at Press Row today was telling me, looking at Bill Brill and all the different writers, Mickey Weiss, they all said he was super. And I'll tell you what, Mr. Carter is matching it here tonight.
The results are in.
At least we'll be the loudest team.
College basketball's favorite wacky announcer scores on home video.
That's awesome, baby, when it counts the lag.
Dick Vitale's Green Time Baby takes you center court where the blood pressure rises.
He's jamming and he's slamming.
And
and where college basketball history is made. If you love basketball as much as Dick Vitale, this video's for you. Dick Vitale's Dreamtime Baby.
Go to the net. Now connecting to the NBA. Welcome to NBA.com, the official website of the NBA. You have gained full access to all 29 teams and their players. Check out nightly scores and stats, read the latest NBA news, visit the NBA theater, and relive spectacular plays. Browse the NBA store, even enter a live chat session with an NBA player or coach. The online world of the NBA, only at NBA.com.
NCAA basketball on ESPN2.
There's the head coach of the #1 team in the country, Roy Williams of Kansas, visiting because his son plays on North Carolina's JV team. He was in town to watch him play and now taking in the ball game here.
I tell you and I had a chance to talk to him, and he was really happy. He said, hey, I read your column today, and you have my guy Ray LaFrentz, first-team All-American, and he deserves to be there. Larry Conley said the same last night, and I agree with Larry. He was just brilliant, LaFrentz.
Rutledge with a miss. The rebound inside. Duncan battling 3 North Carolina players for it. Now look at that. There were 4 Wake Forest players standing around the perimeter with 5 North Carolina players surrounding Duncan.
North Carolina really aggressive tonight. Their pride was destroyed when they were humiliated. Now look at this, as you said, Mike, there's all North Carolina. There's 4 of them. They're going after the ball, and there's Duncan battling against 4 of them.
17 points so far for Carter. The 3 won't go. Rutland missed from outside.
First matchup was a total blowout.
Aminette is now in for Wake Forest at a guard spot, trying to get them a little spark from outside.
Yeah, he can shoot the 3 as well. Trying to match up playing Carter. I know nobody's been able to check number 15.
Swicker with that little hook.
Swicker got that quick release right there that time. Had the concussion because he ran into Jamison's head. He had to leave the game after the first half against Georgia Tech.
26-11. Duncan goes outside a little bit, missed a shot, got it back! What a play by Duncan!
Nobody blocked him out. Duncan quick to the basket. You know, tonight's another example. Brett Musburger was talking about it the other day when we did a game. He said how important emotion is in the game of basketball. You're seeing it here. North Carolina's playing with great emotion.
Swicker counters at the other end. He's made 2 straight buckets, 4 points for the night, and it's 28-13. We've played 14 minutes. Wake Forest has 13 points. Rutland, nice penetration. The off-balance shot hangs on the rim. Is it overruled? The officials will confer. It looked like it may have been touched on the rim. No basket.
They wave it off. It's a good bit of officiating. They huddled up, they got together, and they made the right call. Duke Etzel and Larry Rose. No doubt about it. A good call. We're way up here, sitting up in the stands, up high. We're up in blue heaven right now. Look at Davey Odom. Say, what's going on, baby? What's going on?
28-13. Here's a foul on Aminette, pushing up. The sophomore out of Little Birdstown, Kentucky. Tremendous high school scorer. Dave Odom would like to get him some more playing time. And here's the explanation.
You know, the one thing about the ACC officials, getting a lot of heat now in those controversial situations. But if you know Fred Barakat, and I know you do, the head of the officiating, he does a fantastic job. The last game was a judgment error, no doubt about it. Should not happen with 3 officials. But they stood up like men and admitted they made an error, Mike Wood. And Davey Odom said that was good enough for me. In the game against Virginia, that's a mechanical error, and that's a no-no, not letting an official, letting a player in the game as a substitute.
Jamison with a loose ball in, tried to put it up and had it stuffed. Rutland coming back the other way. Wake needs a couple of buckets out outside badly. Woods with a miss, but he will draw the foul.
They also got to make some things happen with their defense to try and get some easy baskets. You know, North Carolina made 7 of their last 9 shots. As you look at Michelangelo, Dean Smith, an amazing record, going for his 27th consecutive year, winning 20 games or more, 32 years in a row, either number 1, 2, or 3 in the ACC.
Woods will go to the line for a pair. He's in the top 10 in the ACC in free throw shooting.
His buddy, his teammate, Chris Harrell, doing a solid job for Duke. Duke has gone to a smaller lineup, and they've had a lot of versatility, but they got really a couple solid minutes the other day out of Newton. If they get him back to start performing to give him size, they're going to be really a monster. I can't wait for that matchup with UCLA on Sunday. That's going to be special.
And, of course, the other one that looms ahead is the season finale here at North Carolina.
That's going to be a great one as well on ABC.
Woods hits 1 of 2. That'll make it 28-14. Goolsby comes back in. I tell you what, when this kid gets a hot hand, look out, because he can rain them from outside.
Well, 71% of his points come from three-point range. And one thing about Wake, they have shown all year they've been able to come back from large deficits early.
They have seemed very comfortable in a come-from-behind position.
Well, they've been behind a number of games, including Virginia, Florida State.
Excellent ball movement tonight by Carolina, and this is Cota penetrating and picking up the foul.
That's a good point, Mike, you made right there about the ball movement. They're really doing a great job moving the ball, and they seem to be quick. Their first steps seem to be very, very quick.
Rutland picks up the first foul.
They started off the ACC conference so sluggish, losing those first 3. And that's life in this league. I think teams are going to go into little slumps in this league. It's tough to stay away from a little slump.
The thing is, you don't expect North Carolina over the course of the last 4 decades to have a slump. That's how good they've been. Jai stripped by Perrault. Good defense.
Perrault came in with Jai and Duncan, who were part of the same class.
Rutland low. Kicks it back outside. Goolsby with the miss. Perrault, offensive rebound. And Ricky Perrault couldn't get it to fall. Hustling back on defense. Aminette knocked it away from Jamison.
Yeah, good job by Aminette. Looked like a defensive back right there recovering. Got to get it inside Duncan. He's got to go one-on-one.
Jai is on him right now. It just won't fall for Wake Forest.
That was a good shot, though, by Duncan. Good position inside. You could go down.
28-14. The lob for Carter, too high.
Get an offensive foul, I believe, on Carter. A little push. Duncan down inside. Now he's posted up against his former roommate. There he is against Makdar Jai. Jai backs away. Says, yeah, try to beat me. I'm going to give you that step. Try to get the good angle. He wants the foul. Look, he said, hit my arm. Hit my arm. I'm All-American. Come on, give me that call.
No foul on the last play either. Just a 5th turnover against North Carolina. 28-14. Wake Forest has been stone cold from the outside, except for the first shot from Rutland. Aminette tripped on his way in, and I think it's on Okulaja. That's his 3rd.
Aminette trying to get into the gap and see that defense. 3 on Okulaja is certainly big because he brings a defensive presence to the club. He's got to get him out of the game right now. There he is. Adamola going to go to the sideline. One of the 3 Musketeers, along with his buddy Jamison and his buddy Carter.
That's his best defensive player right there. You hate to see him sit down. Shammond Williams will check back in, and Aminette will go to the line. 1-1.
That ACC tournament's going to be something special. Try to project the winner in that, baby.
Dick, just look at this. They can't make anything as Aminette, an 80% shooter, misses. And again, another loose ball trap by Jamison.
Psychologically, I really believe they're affected a little by that loss. I really do. I think their confidence is a little shattered, as you said earlier, losing 2 of their last 4 in the conference. There was a time where they just thought, I think, they were invincible.
Zwicker can't hold on to the pass from Carter, and Carter has been the star so far. He has 17 points for North Carolina. They're up by 14.
Coaches, team, media, all eyes are looking at me.
We asked some of the NFL's hottest rookies to try Degree.
Body heat activated.
As your body heat rises, Degree releases extra protection when you need it most.
As I work harder, Degree works harder.
Degree, for an extra degree of protection.
Daddy, don't go to the big store.
I have to go.
When you get that craving for a Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich made with Dave's blend of pepper and spices, it's hard to resist.
Your wife called. She said bring home a quart of milk.
What? In this weather?
People call you guys bunny spotters, is that right?
Bunny spotters. I think that it trivializes what we do. It's much larger than that.
I mean, once you've seen it, you can never go back. There's no other pink like that. You've been through here.
Bum, 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 bum.
I've seen it 16 times. To watch somebody find it, see it for the first time.
Whoa. I feel very fortunate to be here because, you know, when we're all gone, I'm still going to be out there.
There is a power company that stands apart from the rest. Southern Company. We're cutting costs by 20%, saving our customers millions. And when emergencies strike, no one is more responsible. We wake up over 12 million people every day, bring energy to thousands of cities around the world, and generate more electricity than any other power company in America. We are Southern Company. Energy to serve your world.
Only 3:29 to go in the first half, and North Carolina is leading Wake Forest 28-14. Tomorrow night at 7:30 on the Deuce, the NHL goes to the ice with the Philadelphia Flyers against the Tampa Bay Lightning, led by Dino Ciccarelli. 7:30 Eastern start, 4:30 on the coast. The Flyers and the Lightning on the Deuce.
Mike, as we look right here, ouch, look at these numbers. 6 for 25, 1 for 8, 1 for 5. I mean, that's Brick City, USA. You're not going to win any game against anybody shooting that, baby. You can't even beat Mike and I. We can go out there and shoot better than that.
And it's not that they haven't had some good looks at it either, Dick.
They've had some good looks, but I'll tell you this. Look at the officials now. Talking to Dean Smith, Larry Rose, taking charge. I'll tell you one thing. These refs will battle back because Fred Barakat will have it no other way, number one. And number two, let me tell you this. When you make a mistake here and there, I mean, Mike, we all make errors. But these guys, it's so magnified when they make one.
Dick, you're right. There is a continuing evaluation process run by Fred Barakat, who's the supervisor of officials. And this is a great group of officials. You hate to see him make a mistake, but as you said, it happens. You have to feel bad for Wake to have a game lost under those kind of circumstances. 1 for 9 and 3-point shot for Wake Forest. They can't fire it from outside. Ahead of the pack, Jamison. Great catch. Then he can't make the shot. Wake hustled back on defense.
That's exactly what North Carolina wants to do, though. They want to sneak out in transition. Jamison got there, just couldn't finalize.
Duncan will take a three.
Nobody inside the rebound. Duncan shooting the three. Woods has got to get on the glass. He's got to get stronger physically, Mike. He's got to get in a weight room. He has a world of potential.
Dick, I tell you right now, Wake Forest has to feel a little embarrassed with 14 points in 17 and a half minutes of play. And Zwicker hits his third field goal.
They just don't seem to have a lively bounce to them when you look at Wake. They don't have that step. They don't have the strut of a team that's top 4 in America. You have a certain strut to be in a good club.
And they had it earlier this year, but not so far tonight.
They got to get that little attitude that we're bad.
Amonette hits the three, and that is a big psychological lift, 30-17.
When I say we're bad, I mean we're good. You got to learn all the terminology of the young kids. Keeps me young going on all these college campuses.
Caught a nice crossover dribble, but Woods waiting for him in the lane. Zwicker. Serge Zwicker on fire. He has 8 points.
He's got a nice touch. He's always had touch. He's just got to get a little more aggressive, a little stronger to be able to hold position on the interior. But he's going to make somebody's roster at the next level.
32-17. Amonette trying to penetrate. Jamison with another steal.
A foul
on Amonette.
Foul on Amonette. I'll tell you one thing. They're beating Wake Forest. Every loose ball. Davey Odom has to be concerned. And this guy's an outstanding coach. There's Zwicker on the inside now. He says, come on, Mr. Duncan, you can't get this on me. I'm 7'3". I'm getting the touch, the roll. These are my rims. And now look at that. Carter's going to go to him again. He says, one more time. And he shoots it right over Duncan. Signals the climb. You know what's an amazing stat? Wake Forest has not lost on a road yet.
Dick, I've got to give some credit to Dean Smith because he has decided to come out and play man-to-man to take away the wide-open three-point shots. and do the best they can guarding Tim Duncan. So far, it's worked beautiful.
Well, that's a pretty good strategy. I think against them, that's your best strategy, is to play him basically one-on-one and try to shut everybody else down, because when it's all said and done, Tim's going to get his scores.
Coming up at halftime, we'll update you from ESPN News. Highlights Maryland, Georgia Tech, Ohio State, and Minnesota.
Minnesota's a club with a lot of balance. They've got a lot of players with no stars. Oh, look at that show. Everything they're doing is right. Mr. Carter can do no wrong.
Vince Carter has 19 points, and the lead has been doubled to 17. Rutland for three. Duncan.
Duncan foul, but they're going to put him on the line. I don't think they mind putting him on the line. Vince Carter's playing like the 3-eye man today. Incredible, incomparable, and invincible. I mean, he's just playing unbelievable. I didn't see the performance of Langdon, his 34 last night, but they said his performance was scintillating. As Dean Smith, he's had a few scintillating performances in his career.
Duncan, 6 points, 6 boards on the night, hits the first free throw.
They're so proud of him in St. Croix. I got a fax today from the St. Croix tourist group, and they sent me a fax here at the hotel telling me they're so proud of hearing us always talk about Tim Duncan and how he's from St. Croix. They should be proud. He's a class guy.
1 out of 2 from the line for Duncan. The lead is 16 points for the year. Here's a lob for Carter. 21 points. That's his career high. He's got it in the first half.
I'll tell you, they sneak right behind the big people. That again tells me a lack of aggressiveness and a lack of concentration. Hey, this place is alive. This place is rocking tonight, Mike.
Vince Carter has 21 points in the first half of play, and he has his team up 18.
I'll tell you, this is no wine and cheese crowd tonight, as Sammy Cassell said one time. But Florida State, now with the New Jersey Nets.
Corral was open for three, didn't even look. Aminette has
Look at this. Blowout. Blowout City. Blowout City. Uh-oh. They're on a run, baby. Wake better turn it up in the second half. It's been all North Carolina.
Dave Odom, not a happy man as he leaves. Stand by for ESPN News, our halftime score. North Carolina 38, Wake Forest 18. What a half you missed. 38-18. North Carolina leading Wake Forest, the number 4 team in the country. Couldn't throw it in the ocean right now if they were standing on the edge of the pier. 18 points in the first half. Vince Carter, 21 points by himself. What a half.
Yeah, he really dominated, did a tremendous job, but it was the whole team. The movement of the basketball, executed really well, were very impressive, out-rebounded Wake Forest, did it defensively, and they came out with emotion and really a feeling of passion in playing this game. And I think that's been the big difference.
Huge run for Dean Smith, 7 out of the last 9 ACC games to get back in the race. This could make it 8 out of 10. If they win, they would be within 1 game of second place. Remarkable. And one thing they did tonight, Tim Duncan played him with 1 guy most of the time, then tried to get some help, but they really frustrated him.
Yeah, they really did, and they held him to 3 for 9 in the first half, and he didn't get any help from his friends either. We're going to watch him right here. There's Jai backing away from him, and he comes up short on that little jump shot on the inside. And now we're going to watch Mr. Carter. It was all Vince Carter. From the perimeter, it was jumping jack time with all kinds of slam jam bams. We're going to see the little pass over the... I'm telling you, he did it all. Shot jump shots, and he was just amazing in that first half. Had a magnificent performance.
Tim Duncan, the expression rarely changes. This young man goes through highs and lows on a very even keel. You will probably see a little more emotion from him in the second half because I'm sure he is not very happy right now.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Mike. You look at the stat sheet, you see Ricky Peral 0 for 1. You see Lauren Woods 1 for 3. You see Braswell 0 for 2. You can't have your starters go in those kind of numbers and expect to be the team on the road, the caliber of North Carolina. Tim Duncan needs help. He needs people to step up, make shots.
Career high in the first half. He only missed one shot. The other factor that North Carolina had going forward, it seemed every loose ball they got.
All right, look at this right here. When you look at three-point shooting, 20% for Wake, 3 for 6 for North Carolina. Look at even the free throw line. No, that's got to be a mistake there. No, 1 for 4 for North Carolina as well, but 2 for 7 for Wake. And then you look at the rebound totals, North Carolina winning the battle on the glass.
These are the best 2 rebounding teams in the ACC in terms of rebound margin. Carolina won in the league. Here's Jamison. A lot of contact, no whistle.
Well, we start the second half in the first matchup. Wake Forest went on a big run. And really hurt North Carolina out of the game.
Duncan Lowe double teamed, and the foul inside. Let's see, is it on Zwikker or Jamison?
I think you can see a lot more emotion right now out of the Wake Forest gang. I got to believe Davey Odom really challenged them at halftime.
Zwikker gets his second personal foul. Now remember,
Zwikker really played
they
well.
are not very deep.
No, Zwikker played really well in that first half. 4 for 5. Duncan converting on a free throw line. Wake's going to have to make something happen with their defense, Mike.
He is only 2 for 5 from the free throw line tonight. Now making 3 out of 6. And believe it or not, even at his side, he is a much better pressure shooter.
They're picking up full court now, Wake Forest, trying to get a little aggressive. A good move by Davey Odom. I'll tell you one thing. People aren't going to outwork Dave Odom, Ernie Nestor, Ricky Stokes, and Russell Turner. They really work hard, as do all the coaches in this conference. But this guy, I know, really concerned about the effort of his club. I read those quotes today in the paper, and he really pointed it out, that we're not just playing the kind of basketball we played earlier.
Trying to apply some pressure here. Zwikker in and out. Got the loose ball. Again, North Carolina quicker to the ball.
That's exactly right. Getting the loose ball, getting the second opportunities.
Shammond Williams. Here's Carter.
Oh, finally misses one.
That's only the second miss of the night. He's hit 9 out of 10. Here's Duncan handling the ball.
He really handles it well for a big guy. An outstanding passer. He's got to take Zwikker to the basket. He's got to use his quickness against him rather than shoot over the top. He's got to take him to the basket.
Jump hook over and it won't go. Zwikker has done a fine job just bodying up against him.
He really looks like he's going to assert himself, though, here in the second half. He did that against Maryland when they fell behind big, and he took the game in his hands and scored 25 in the second half. Mr. Duncan.
Jamison working on Pearl. Back to Carter. A little finger roll won't go.
Carter's starting to show he's human.
I began to wonder in the first half.
I mean, he was magnificent.
Here's Rutland, got a screen, didn't want the shot, goes down the lane. His runner won't go. Duncan with a rebound. Triple team, three-pointer, way off the mark from Rutland. Pearl offensive rebound. There's a little more aggressiveness and emotion from Wake.
Now look at this match here. Pearl being played by Shammond Williams. He got to go inside at 6'10". Walking violation.
Travel on Duncan.
They're out of sync, Mike. They're out of sync. That's not the club we saw earlier this year. That's not the club that's undefeated right now on the road, including a road win at Utah, where they really put the hurt on Keith Van Horn and company.
And Pearl did a great defensive job on Van Horn that night.
Van Horn is really a tremendous talent. Oh, that's what he did in the first half. I mean, that's a big-time play. Look at Zwikker hugging him. He said, that's my guy Carter. That's Jordanus. That's Jordanus. I mean, are you serious? Oh, watch Mr. Carter. Watch the explosion. Watch the legs. Watch the up and away. The elevator man with the two-hand chair. That's a monster chair. Here it is. Slam jam man, baby.
Foul on Goolsby, his first. That makes it 40-20, and Vince Carter extends his career high to 23 points. And I think everybody dropped all their drinks on that one.
And they're all excited.
No, Bill Guthridge still has his.
Look at them laughing. Look at them all excited. They know they got a long way to go. You don't see any smiles on Dean's face.
Oh, no. He's seen this act before.
22 up against Maryland right here on this floor with 14 to go.
Carter in now. Zwikker there for the rebound. Blocked by Duncan. Foul on Duncan.
And there's another example of beating them to the basketball, Mike. Dean Smith has his kids primed and ready to play tonight.
They'll give that foul to Peral instead of Duncan. That will be third on the Spaniard.
See, I think when Carter jammed that, Mike Krzyzewski just got up and jammed one in his house. His wife Mickey said, calm down, Mike, calm down. I know you're rooting for the heels.
Zwicker, a 71% free throw shooter. He has a big 9 points tonight.
Duke would move into first place all by itself if North Carolina would have prevailed here tonight.
They would have the fewest losses in the ACC with 3, and their destiny would be in their own hands.
I'll tell you, Mike's going to get a lot of votes for National Coach of the Year now. Gary Williams was the early leader, but now Mike Krzyzewski really right up there.
Goolsby wide open, went inside the three-point line to take the jump shot. I still think that's the worst shot in basketball. One more foot outside, it's a 3 instead of a 2. Okalaja for 3.
That's a good point. Rick Pitino puts you on a bench to shoot that shot.
That's right. Goolsby wide. Look at the hesitation, and now Rutland will take the 3 and hit it. They are very tentative outside. It's like they're afraid to make a mistake.
Well, they got to shoot some threes right now. They're capable. Rutland's capable. Goolsby. And so is Braswell. And they need that to also open up the lanes on the interior to get the ball inside the country.
Shammond Williams has gone around the Wake Forest guards at will all night long.
Yeah, the penetration. Nobody's beating guys to the basketball. You're not staying between your man and the basket. You're not squaring up.
24-23. Here's Peral and throws it away.
Out of sync all night long.
Carter. This crowd would have gone crazy.
You know, normally clubs don't shoot well against Wake Forest. Defensively, they're one of the best in America. There's only been 3 teams that have shot better than 40% against them. Take a look why the Dukies would be happy tonight. They would be sitting at 11-3, and Wake would be at 9-4. And North Carolina, creeping slowly up, would get to 8-5. Maryland with that win tonight. Any win you get in a conference is a big win.
Peral sits down. 44-23. Each particular clock makes it more difficult for Wake Forest.
Especially if they can't make anything happen with their defense, Mike.
And if they keep turning it over, here's
winners. Yes, sir. It's all showtime. Unless there's a special spark by Wake Forest somehow, Mike. You just don't see it in their bounce and their strut. This North Carolina team doesn't look like it's going to let up.
46-23. Foul inside as Woods tried to get the follow shot. It'll be on Maktar Jai.
Lauren Woods going through a learning process right now. Will ultimately become an outstanding player. You're going to see right now the little pass over the top. There's the catch by Shammond Williams. And there's the little jam. Look at Odom. There's Odom on that sideline. Those people aren't recovering right now. You know, they're just getting a whipping. I mean, they are just getting a whipping as it turns to Ernie Nestor.
The other thing, Dick, it is a long season, and right now Wake Forest looks tired to me.
Well, they don't play a lot of guys. That's number one.
Lauren Woods now 2 out of 3 from the line. Here's Amonette, who will check into the backcourt.
You know, Mike, in every game they basically play, it seems to be a game that goes down to the wire because every game, their style keeps people in the game. I mean, even when they're winning in the conference, they're by 2 and 3 points. And that wears on them.
The lead is 22 with 15:38 and counting in this game.
Passing the ball really well. Playing with a bounce. Look at that pass.
Jamison fouled by Duncan. Excellent ball movement by North Carolina. And this is by far the best I've seen them this year, and I've seen them several times.
No, the best I've seen them as well, Mike, and I've had them a number of occasions as well. They had won 9 in a row when they played Wake the first time, but they came back from that trip in Europe, and they might have been a little tired there. Not to take anything away from Wake, because Wake at that time was playing sensational basketball. They're going through a little mini slump right now. They're going to regroup. They're too talented, Wake. They're too well coached, too talented, and they got a superstar.
Well, both of these teams have struggled at the free throw line tonight.
Ernie Nestor made a great point to me today, the assistant coach. He said, obviously you want to win now. Obviously you want to win every game you play. But the bottom line, our legacy, he said, is going to be determined by what we do in the NCAA tournament. And isn't that true now, the new mentality that exists in college basketball? It bothers me, but unfortunately that's the mentality like the NBA.
But Dick, you can't be very happy closing the way Wake Forest is right now. If they lose this one, it would be 3 out of their last 5. You need some momentum.
Oh, exactly. You got to regroup before the ACC tournament. Get back your confidence in that strut again. They went to the Final 8 last year. They were beaten by Kentucky to go to the Final 4. And then Kentucky having a miracle year, winning the national title.
The third foul called on Jamison as Zwicker and Duncan go at it.
Okay, you can get the internet on this TV. You don't need a computer. You just need this.
And a remote.
It's easy.
It's called Web TV. Available now for under $350.
When Dave Thomas created Wendy's Spicy Chicken Sandwich, he used a whole breast filet seasoned with his own blend of pepper and spices, but did he go too far?
Very spicy.
Well, it's perfect.
Depends on who you ask. Try Wendy's Spicy Chicken Sandwich.
You worry? You're overprotective? You're a parent. Isn't it nice to know that there's something almost effortless you can do to protect your family even more? Just ask your State Farm agent for a free family insurance checkup. It's a smart way for you to decide if your family's insurance coverage is up to date. So they'll be better protected. And maybe you'll worry a little less.
For 35 years, I did the sports in 4 minutes. Now you got this channel with breaking news, highlights, scores. You know, I was doing sports bloopers back then. Well, we used to call them goofy gaffes. Same garbage.
15-15 left in the game from Chapel Hill. North Carolina blowing out Wake Forest. Basketball action will continue tomorrow on ESPN. First at 7:30 p.m., number 18 Michigan will go against Big Ten foe Iowa. Then at 9:30, number 15 Louisville takes on Marquette. That is tomorrow night on ESPN.
Hey, Mike, take a look here in the second half. Shooting 17%.
If you thought 25% was bad, it was a lot better than what they're doing in this half. North Carolina has come back to earth.
They came back to reality. I spoke to a former North Carolina guard today by the name of Jim Delaney, the commissioner of the Big Ten. And he was singing the praises of their guard play in the Big Ten. And I agree with him. When you look at Iowa with Andre Woolridge and Bobby Jackson, and you look at Lewis Bullock and A.J. Guyton, might be the best diaper dandy in the country from Indiana.
Rutland misses a wide-open 3. It's been the story of Wake Forest night. The lob, the bucket.
When you're doing that, Mike, that means the defense is not focused. That means there's no concentration. That means the defense isn't alert where the ball is, where people are on the court. They're getting beat in every way possible.
Braswell with a pull-up jump shot, in and out. The follow is good.
Warren Woods with a good offensive rebound.
Well, this may sound a little callous, Dick, but right now Wake Forest defensively not paying any attention.
No, just beating them down the court.
That's an offensive foul called on Shammond Williams for the push-off.
Yeah, he hooked him. Caught him in the hook. Shammond Williams can't believe the call. Now look at him right now. They're just beating him down the court. Look at Wake Forest. Look at them all staring at the wall. Somebody's got to stop the ball. They got to find the man. You got to be alert where your man is at all times. Sprint back to the 3-second area, and one guy stopped the basketball.
48-26. Duncan goes right by Zwicker. Nice move by Tim Duncan. The All-American now with 11 points, 12 boards.
Great first step right there. He's got that explosive first step. He's got that long first step.
His 22nd double-double of the season. Wow. In 25 games. Zwicker, offensive rebound. The big man's had a good game tonight.
He's had a very strong game. They just missed him. He was wide open. Again, getting that offensive rebound means they're a little bit more alert than Wake.
Well, I'm really impressed with the development of Cota. Zwicker, little baseline jump shot. That's his favorite. Okalaji with a rebound. He's shoved out of bounds. A foul on Amonette.
Again, beat him to the basketball. We're going to take a look at Duncan in triple threat position. There he is where he can drive, shooter, pass, when he elects to drive, takes it up with that strong layup to the glass. Certainly an All-American. Flat-out superstar. Look at that ball movement. Swinging it side to side, getting good spacing. So important for an offensive set. Spacing 15, 17 feet apart. There's a nice cut. Look at the ball movement.
Touch pass, and Zwicker could have brought the crowd to its feet if he could have finished that one.
Great execution and really lackadaisical defense again by Wynn.
Eminette inside to Duncan, a little baby hook, and he's got it.
He's got that great jump hook. He was a recipient of the ESPY Award as college basketball player of the year last year.
These fans remember that Maryland came from 22 down, so they're not real comfortable in their seats right now, and Zwicker loses it out of bounds.
They came back from 22 down. It was about the same time frame, but one little difference. They made it happen with that trapping defense.
And Zwicker, one of the few mistakes he's made tonight, unhappy with himself.
Well, a lot of people didn't think he'd play tonight because of that concussion. Missed the second half of the Georgia Tech game. Missed practice the other day.
Maktar Jai is in for him, and he'll get to work on Duncan. Braswell double teamed, and they drop off, missed the shot. Duncan kept it alive. Jai knocks it out of bounds. Used to be Maktar in Jai when he was at Michigan, but he said it was never supposed to be pronounced that way.
Comes from a great family, very educated family, mom and dad. Duncan talking to Duke Edsel. Only 20 years of age. Will not be 21 until April. That's amazing. 4 years of college completed.
He's going to be the wealthiest 21-year-old we ever knew. Duncan pushed by Jai as he tried to work inside.
You know, we talked earlier about a #1 seed. Well, obviously, we've had Wake Forest way up on top. There's the two roomies. Look at Maktar shoving them. You can't do that, Maktar. You can't bump him, Maktar. And he looks at the ref. But right now, that's in jeopardy because Duke's coming on so strong. And if Duke were to beat UCLA on the road, they really got to be considered for a #1 seed.
Eminette for three. Good ball movement that time.
Looks on a little 9-zip run.
48-33, getting interesting here at Chapel Hill.
Nervous time.
Dakota, nice pass inside to Carter. He's held before the bucket.
What they're really doing well tonight is moving without the basketball. They are really moving exceptionally well without the ball. A lost art in college basketball. There's the kick out to Eminette, the inside-outside action, and he tickles the twine with an NBNer, nothing but nylon. Watch the way North Carolina is moving so well without the ball. Toughest guy to guard in basketball is a guy moving without the ball.
Last play was the second foul on Rutland. Shamon Williams.
With a 9-zip run there, he quiets it down with a little tip in on the line.
Jamison is there for the tip.
AJ with that tip. Remember my All-ACC team with Mr. Duncan, Harpering, Langdon, Jamison.
Look at Woods keep it alive, and then he is really hacked by Jai and gets up and chest pumps it. Maktar Jai got his money's worth on that foul. And Lauren Woods didn't like it at all.
They're trying to calm Lauren down. My other guy on my All-ACC team would be Keith Booth. Now look at the chest bump. Whoa. Maktar said, what's that all about? What's that all about? Don't worry about it. We got the lead. Let's relax. Play basketball. 7-1, St. Louis. Cardinal Ritter High School. Great program. Rustin Thomas, the coach. Won a state championship last year with Chris Carrawell. He's become a solid player for Duke. Where they're so versatile. One thing I like about Duke is their versatility. Deshaun McLeod's become a heck of a player.
Hands in the air.
Mojo House can't underestimate the job Wojo does. And Capel and Price have been really good.
4 out of 6 from the line for Lauren Woods. They've cut it to 15.
Hi, you got any of these? Ooh, will this leather case fit my cell phone? It's not from Radio Shack.
Yes, it will.
Perfect. What about a long-life battery? A car adapter? A universal remote? Cordless computer mouse? An AC adapter for this? Wow, you got wireless speakers? Dual headphones?
Whatever you've got, wherever you got it, Radio Shack's got over 10,000 accessories to help it work better.
Oh, yeah. Got any connectors?
Parts, too.
great.
Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers.
I got it.
Coors Light, the silver bullet. It's frost brewed to tap the clean taste of the Rockies. Tap the wide mouth, the Coors Light wide mouth can, with a giant opening for a smoother pour.
My grandfather, my father, both my brothers, my kids will probably have thinning hair. Losing my hair was probably one of the most traumatic experiences in my life. But the great thing about Rogaine is you can interrupt nature. You can stop it. It takes 30 seconds. Twice a day. It's easier than brushing your teeth or putting on deodorant. About 4 months later, my wife walked by and she just was, hey, wait a second. You're growing hair. Check this out. It's thicker. It's fuller. It's great. I'm a user for life.
11:40 to go in the game. Wake Forest to trim the lead to 15. Roy Williams, the ex-North Carolina assistant, now the head coach at #1 Kansas, watching tonight. And I tell you what, he has a very, very scrappy basketball team out there. They play brilliantly. And you only have to go back 40-some years to find Dean Smith. He's the one on the right. Played between 50 and 53. Got a championship ring as part of the 1952 team. Then he has become a championship coach, closing in on Adolph Rupp. I congratulated Roy Williams before the game for the great year he's had. He said, well, I had the best teacher.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, no doubt there's great respect for one another. But think about these numbers. Roy Williams, 239 wins in his 9th year. That's 26 wins a year. That's unbelievable. And he was an assistant coach. Nobody knew about him. Someone took a shot by the name of Bob Frederick, and the rest is history.
Cota tries the bank shot and can't hit it. North Carolina has gone cold, giving Wake Forest an opportunity. Duncan against Wicker. Nice move to get inside with a left hand, and it's a 13-point game.
Nice move by Duncan on the inside. They get this under 10. This is really going to get a little bit exciting, especially for Wake people sitting behind their bench. North Carolina needs to score. They got to start to get a little momentum. It's gotten away from them.
Cota gotten away from Braswell. Short.
Big possession right now. They got to come up right now with a score. They'll really get North Carolina a little bit nervous.
A little more bounce in their step right now. Here's Duncan, deals it off the wood, but he traveled.
They lifted his pivot foot. Look at Dave. He's animated on that sideline. Here's Duncan now as he's sitting in a post. Previous possession. Can he pick it up with the left hand? Showing his versatility. There he is with the little left-hand layup. 11 turnovers for Wake.
Usually they commit 4 to 5 turnovers a game more than their opponents. Here's a trap and a steal.
Good job defensively. As you said, Mike, Wake's got a little bit more of a bounce to their step.
Rutland off the glass, doesn't get it, but he draws the foul from Shamon Williams. That's 4 on the North Carolina shooting guard. Starting to get interesting here.
And remember, 22 up with 14 to go against Maryland, and it got away from them. They're going to start to get a little nervous right now. Foul on Mr. Rutledge. Showing a little character right now, the ability to come back, and they've been doing that all year long. They've been in many situations where they've had to come from behind.
The biggest lead in this game was at 48 to 24. And North Carolina, as Dick pointed out, really looked in total control because Wake was showing no signs outside of occasional flashes from Duncan of being able to do anything about it. But they've gotten a couple of steals, and they've come out and moved the ball a lot better and shown some more emotion. You can only imagine what is going through Dave Odom's mind at halftime, like, what are you guys doing?
I don't understand how kids can come out and play without emotion. It's such an important part of the game of basketball, especially when you have equal competition. You got to play with fever. You got to play with really an electrical feeling. You got to play with that excitement.
This is the best free throw shooter Wake Forest has. Tony Rutland has made 16 of his last 19 shots from the stripe.
Well, these are big if he converts. He can get into a little pressure also right now defensively. See, that's the one thing, talking about emotion, I love about the Duke team. I mean, I'll tell you, I'm so impressed with them. They play with a passion and a love for that jersey. The Duke standards are back again.
Rutland hits them both. It's an 11-point game.
And there's the pressure now. They're going to give us some pressure. They can't get 10 in the North Carolina. They're going to play with that aggressiveness that they played with earlier.
No, they got to stay in their offense. You're absolutely right.
They can't try to protect that lead.
Williams Jamison not even looking. Carter gives it up to Cota.
Williams got 4 fouls now.
Boy, Cota's showing you his quickness. He is just going wherever he wanted to go tonight.
Nice move by Cota to penetrate, get into the 3-second area, and then also to convert.
That's his first 2 points of the night. Duncan from 17. Lauren Woods keeping it alive. Jamison with a rebound. And Jamison falling out of bounds trying to save it, threw it away.
See, now you got to go inside to Duncan. You got to go inside to the big guy.
Oh, Braswell, tough shot.
Acrobatic shot right there.
Carter back the other way, relatively quiet in the second half after 21 in the first. Jamison blocked from behind by Lauren Woods. He'll get the foul and came close to a technical as he slammed the ball on the floor.
Jamison did a great job getting good post position on the inside. Watch the post position. See, he'll seal him off. Shows his experience right here on the Diaper Dandy. Gets that inside position. It's so quick. He's got that great first step, great legs, tremendous spring. Jerry Krausen, proud also of the Chicago Bulls, general manager. He's got one fair player from North Carolina wearing a Chicago Bulls uniform. Michael, the greatest ever to lace him up, Mr. Jordan.
Jamison, 1 out of 3 at the line, only 3 points tonight, the second leading scorer in the ACC, but Carter has picked up the scoring load.
Hits them both. I think has a tough time, Jamison, against Wake Forest because of their size on the inside, and they make it such a half-court game, and it's tough for him to score. The presence of Duncan and Woods.
Dave Odom's got Goolsby in there, and Lauren Woods will come out as he goes to a smaller lineup, but gives him more firepower on the outside.
And also gives a little more freedom to Tim Duncan to operate on the inside with Woods out of the game. Plus, Goolsby gives him that offensive three-point threat.
And it makes it a little easier for them to press if they do make the bucket. Braswell, nice drive down the lane, the bucket and the foul.
That's a big-time drive by Jerry Braswell. He's exploded to the goal, and that's something Davey Odom wants for both Rutland and Braswell. Rather than become stationary three-point shooters, attack the basket. Now here's Braswell with a great, great drive. Jamison breaks down defensively because he doesn't see ball in man. Should have been in help position to take away that drive down the lane.
This would cut it to 10.
With the single digits. It'll be Maillock's time.
3-point play for Jerry Braswell. And honestly, Dick, I don't think either one of us thought this was going to happen.
Exactly, and Davey Odom's got to be proud that his kid didn't fold the tent. A come back to get this game within striking distance.
When you're this good and you're embarrassed, you fight back. And they have. Swicker backing in, jump hook partially blocked. The follow won't go, and look at Duncan.
Here they are. It's a big possession now because he can get into single digits for the first time in a long, long time.
Duncan fighting for every inch of space in there. He got a piece of 2 of those. That's a bad pass to Duncan from Terrell. Threw it down at his ankle.
Yeah, made him look like a 5'1" guard instead of a 6'11" center. Took away his size by bringing the ball down to his feet.
Foul on Goolsby. Boy, Ricky Peral has been virtually invisible in this game, offensively and defensively.
Last year was such a brilliant shooter, was second in the nation shooting a three-point shot. There's the bad pass. So you bring it down to his feet. Now look, he's got to go all the way down. And he becomes like a 5'1" player instead of a 6'11" player.
And that kind of pass comes at a tough time, too. When you're making the run, when you're cutting into the score, you got it down to 10.
Yeah, plus now to go up the other end. Instead of you getting a deuce out of your All-American, it becomes almost a 4-point turnaround. Could get it to 8, and now it goes to 12 if he converts here.
Okay, Elijah out of Berlin, Germany.
5 for 11 on a line, North Carolina.
That's the front end of a 1-and-1. Those shots are huge.
I'll keep you in the game. The plug goes to the line and doesn't convert. Special situation.
Rutland for 3, in and out. Kept alive by Carolina. Rutland has it again. 3!
Up big trifecta, a big. They're jumping with joy down at Winston-Salem, baby. The campus is erupting. They're saying, we're back. The Demon Deacons are back. The Wade Wackos are going wild. The Screaming Deacons are going wild.
11 points for Rutland, and you got to like that in the shooter. He misses the first one. The ball's tipped back to him. He says, what the heck, let's take another three, and he drained it.
And that's going to build up some confidence in him as Mr. Rutland drains the trifecta.
They were down by 24. Now it's 7.
What's your biggest fitness problem?
My problem areas are right through my hips and thighs.
My hips are definitely a lot bigger since I had the baby. Are your legs, hips, thighs, and buttocks the most difficult areas to trim and shape? We have the ultimate solution. Introducing the Leg Shaper Plus, new from Nordic Track.
Together with Nordic Track, we've developed an amazing piece of equipment just for women that can help us easily shape up by targeting our biggest problem areas.
Leg Shaper Plus is the ultimate solution to a woman's #1 problem area. The legs, hips, thighs, and buttocks. And it's the first machine to simulate the lunge, so you can shape up and become leaner while you sculpt from the waist down. Call now for your free video and brochure. When you order, you'll receive Linda Evans' personal program for success, a $49.95 value free. We promise you'll see results in 30 days or your money back. Call now for your free video and brochure.
Wake Forest on a 23-6 run. They have cut a 24-point lead down to 7 with 7:59 to go in the ball game.
Look at those Wackos. They're getting a little bit quiet right now down here in heel territory. You're never out of the game when you got a guy like Duncan on your squad, Mike. And if you dig in defensively, you're always going to have a chance. Right now, North Carolina's got to get something out of Antoine Jameson, who's been under wraps.
Shammond Williams and Cota, the backcourt. Williams driving the baseline. Bounce pass inside. Tough pass, tough shot. Cota finishes it off, and it's back to a 9-point lead.
Nice play by Cota, but a good pass by Shammond Williams.
Duncan with the left hand.
I'll tell you, he loves, I think, tight situations. It really brings out the best of them, just like it did against Maryland. This would be one of the great comebacks in ACC history. 23-point comeback Virginia had against Duke over at Duke 2 years ago.
Tim Duncan has 17 points. Cota backs it out, 15 on the shot clock, 7:05 on the game clock.
And North Carolina needs a big trifecta to get this crowd back in it. A guy like Williams can knock one down.
5 on the shot clock. Jameson, great quick move.
I'll tell you, talk about quickness. He just exploded. He bounced right off the floor. Caught the ball all in one motion. Exploded right to the basket.
Duncan was there, but he just couldn't get up fast enough.
Oh, they got a charge. Out of control. Big defensive possession. Again, Jameson, we said, had to step up. Stepped up offensively, and now he steps up defensively. I'm going to see Jameson. Look how quick he is. Catches it. He just goes up so quickly. Does it offensively. Now watch him take the charge. There he is, number 33. He's going to rotate over. Offensive player up in the air. There's the contact.
Boy, big mistake by Rutland. He just turned his body, got caught up in the air, didn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah, once you leave your feet, you're really in major trouble.
North Carolina trying to give itself a little more breathing room here.
That's big. There's the trifecta we talked about, Mike. And that would be a big momentum builder. Shammond Williams.
Shammond Williams has 9. The lead is thrown back to a dozen. Eminette with a miss. Cota, head up all the way. And then forced it.
Yeah, out of control.
Nice recovery by Woods to make the catch. Missed the shot. Missed the foul, but he's fouled by Zwicker.
Ball got a little bit too far ahead of him. Couldn't catch that ball and get a layup.
Boy, Woods upset with himself, too, but he did a nice job of making the catch and then coming under control.
You know, there's the ball's right out in front. He gets under the basket, so he doesn't have the angle to come back for the layup. Now he's got to try to reverse. And there he is with the catch. Should have taken that catch and just exploded and jammed. He's got to learn to catch, explode, and jam. Look at these. Oh, the foul. Oh, the foul.
Woods 4 out of 6 from the line tonight, and the free throws get huge at this point in the ballgame.
He's got a nice touch for a big fella.
5:58 left. This would cut it back to 10 again. Missed the shot. It's an 11-point lead. North Carolina's basketball.
Manage the clock. It's a good shot. Spread the court. Good ball movement. Got to be able to win and protect leads like this, especially on your home turf. You can't let people come in and steal a win when you get a big lead on your home turf.
Jamison in the lane.
Oh, yes. Mr. Jamison.
And Duncan went down on the play. Tim Duncan went down before the shot.
He's rubbing the knee, Mike.
He may have just caught a knee on top of the bone. I think that's what happened. And boy, are they breathing easier in Winston-Salem. And he gets a round of applause here at the Smith Center.
We're all breathing easier because we're going to hate to see this kid who gave up a lot of money to come back to school, set aside the desire for cash, and just said, heck, I'm coming back to Wake. I love my school. It's a great school. Yeah, it looked like it was knee to knee. And there's Jamison, who has really stepped up big in the last 3 minutes.
Duncan leans in, got the bucket. He'll draw the foul from Zwicker. That's 4 on the 7'3" senior. And more importantly, Duncan with a chance for a three-point play.
We're going to watch the entry down, a 45-degree angle. Now there goes Duncan, takes it right up at the 7'3", and puts it on a glass. Got the great touch, shows some emotion right there.
You know, sometimes you have to feel sorry for big guys because they'll stand in there with their arms straight up and they're not moving at all, but they'll be called for the foul.
Oh, no question. Big guys always get the bad breaks.
Duncan goes to the line, a chance for his 20th point. He's hit 3 out of 6 from the stripe, has 15 boards on the night.
I'll tell you, when his career is all said and done, Mike, he's got to rank as one of the top players ever to play in the ACC. And there have been so many stars that have come out of this league.
The nation's leading rebounder, averaging 14 rebounds a game. Tonight, he has 16.
22nd double-double. And he's not a kind of guy that goes out for stats. I mean, he's a guy that just wants to win. In fact, it's interesting. Whenever he scores 25 or more, they're like 3 and 3 in games that he scored 25 or more. That means everybody else becomes the Kodak man. They take pictures.
Shammond Williams for 3 out of the corner. Wake Forest again with a chance to get it to single digits.
Maybe a little inside outside. Peralt's got to shoot it. He's a good shooter.
Ricky Peralt made the hesitation and then missed. And every time you watch a guy hesitate and then take the shot, it's not going in.
That one was not even close.
Okulaja just holding it outside. We're down to 4:33.
They're trying to manage that shot clock. Looking to spread the court. I'm really impressed with the kind of movement they've had tonight. Very active without the ball.
Here goes Okulaja trying to get into the lane. Had it blocked. Wake Forest playing much better defense in the second half. Warren Woods was wide open. Braswell missing them. Braswell got caught up in the air again. Had it stuck.
You're right, Mike. They missed Woods down that lane.
Shammond Williams with a miss. There's a follow by Ed Cota.
Ed Cota has become really an outstanding guard. Off the bench. He's been such a positive force. His high school coach, Rock Eisenberg, is on cloud 9. He's here tonight.
The runner by Rutland.
Nice little drive by Rutland.
If Wake Forest decides to go to the foul, North Carolina is not a good free throw shooting team.
They just want to take some time off that clock with each possession, making it tougher and tougher for Wake to come on back.
3:25 and counting.
He's become such a solid backcourt performer, Williams. He's improved his ball handling.
Shammond Williams will go to the line. ACC Hoops action continues on Saturday on ESPN2. Two great matchups at 1:30, Wake Forest, Virginia. Then at 4 o'clock, you'll see the streaking Tar Heels at University of Maryland.
That's another big game for Wake Forest, but also a big one for Virginia. I was battling with some scribes in the media room. They think that even if Virginia goes 6-10, they'll get into the NCAA tournament. I don't buy it. I don't care how tough the conference is. 6-10 is not going to get it done, Mike. There's no way. There'd be people up in arms. They got to win at least 7 and go 7-9, and I think they got a legit shot. But 6-10, I can't see it. Can you?
Dick, I think with this conference, with 5 teams in the top 14, I think they would have an outside chance. I don't think 6-10 is where Jeff Jones wants to be. Shammond Williams hits the ball, the lead back to 13, only 3:24 to go.
Coors Light, the Silver Bullet. It's frost brewed to tap the clean taste of the Rockies.
Hey, where'd you come from?
The Hall of Fame, my man.
You guys look bigger on TV.
Hi, I'm Fred Couples. For years, I've played links. Unless you hit 1,000 balls a day, you need forgiving clubs. Black Cat irons and metalwoods are really forgiving clubs. The flare shaft and the cast will give you longer, more accurate shots. The expanded hitting area allows you to smash it down the middle with less misses. In fact, I like Link so much, my friends and I bought the company.
Look for the Black Cat promotion at your local golf shop. Buy them now and get big savings.
This Subaru Outback is pretty impressive.
What's wrong there?
It gets better gas mileage than a Cherokee, holds a turn tighter than a Blazer.
Don't forget acceleration.
Acceleration.
That's right. Go 0 to 60 faster than an Explorer.
Competition must be worried.
Oh, yeah. It's scared stiff. Subaru Outback, the world's first sport utility wagon.
Wake Forest may have made its run. They cut the lead to 7. Now it's back to 13 with 3:24 to go in the ball game. And North Carolina on its way to winning 8 of its last 10 ACC games after an 0-3 start. Left for dead, but the pulse is getting stronger every game.
I'll tell you one thing, Mike. A lot of teams are going to the 3-guard concept as we look here at the reset. Timeouts, take a look at Wake, has 2 4-1s. A lot of clubs, you look at Duke's gone to the 3-guard concept with Wojciechowski, Capel, and certainly Langdon. You look at the University of Mass, I saw them put a real beating on Maryland. Got a great performance out of Clark and Padilla and Travieso. You look right here in North Carolina with Williams and Carter. And certainly this club has become really an outstanding team. The perimeter people have gotten a lot better. Coda's on the floor with Carter and Williams.
The one thing Wake Forest is going to have to do if they start fouling people is get the ball out of the hands of Shammond Williams, because he'll make all of them.
Yeah, he's really an outstanding free-throw shooter. That's another plus for Duke in that game against Wake. He went to the line. Langdon and knocked 4 in a row down at a crucial time.
He's not going to miss any, is he?
Oh, he's not automatic. He was automatic the other day against Clemson, 9 for 9, I believe.
Time running out on Wake. Dakota and Williams have done a great job outside tonight. 12 assists and only 5 turnovers.
Hey, look at the creation right there, the 3D man right there. Drew the defense to him and pushed the rock right open to Jamison.
Rutland with the 3.
Get the quick timeout. Down 12 with 2:31. It's happened before, but that's a tough road to hoe.
Dick, I can only think back to the beginning of the year where Dean Smith took the lack of success of his club. He took it to heart. He took it on himself. He didn't blame his players. He didn't pout about it.
There's the three-point shot. You know, talking to John Kilgo today, who does a fine job with the Carolina Blue, the annual or the month, weekly, I guess they put out down here, and he does a great job as the editor. He told me today he thinks this is Dean's finest job of coaching. I mean, that's pretty tough with all the coaching he's had. There's been a little success here. He's had a few players that are the Carolina uniform.
His average record, 24-7. That's an average. A lot have been better.
I'll tell you, he's passed that on to guys like Roy Williams, Eddie Fogler, who's doing a magnificent job again with the three-guard concept. B.J. Mackey and Melvin Watson and Larry Davis. As we look at Roy Williams, averaging 26 wins a year in his tenure at Kansas. I still think the best team in America, the team to cut the nets down. And they're excited. They're getting Scott Pollard back this weekend, who's been out with a broken foot. And Ray LaFrentz has become an All-American, making my first team All-American, as I said earlier, with Duncan and Van Horn and Brevin Knight and Chauncey Phillips.
North Carolina's ability to hit the free throws as Carter knocks down the first one. He's a 72% shooter. He has shot the ball so much better in the second half of the year. In the first half, he wasn't even trying to shoot.
You know, it's amazing. He's as old as Tim Duncan, as a freshman. But you know what? That's certainly not his fault. Plus, the year of school, his mom and dad was in a serious automobile accident, and he really had to look at things a little differently. And his coach, he owes a lot to Rob Eisenberg this year today. He's played a big role in his life, changing his life around. And it doesn't matter if you're 20. The bottom line is to go to school, to get a good education, get his degree, and ultimately make it in life. And that's
the young man did not have an easy time growing up.
Went to prep school last year, St. Thomas More. It was good ball movement.
Rutland with a three. Duncan trying to keep it alive. This will be Duncan over the back. Oh, excuse me. They're going to call Zwicker.
You can't believe it. He cannot believe it. So he had inside position. Oh, is that a break there for the All-American?
They're saying that Zwicker had an arm wrapped around Duncan. I'd have to see it to believe it.
Well, we're so far up, Mike. It's so difficult for us to see anything up
We
here,
can't
Mike.
see arms from here. We can barely see Zwicker.
The scoreboard. Oh, look at that. He's holding.
You're right.
Yeah, oh, that's a good call.
Yes, it is.
Give the Zebras. Sorry, Dino. Sorry, Dino. That was a great call. That was a great call. Michelangelo, I'm telling you, it was a great call. We got the monitor. Oh, Phil, look at Phil Ford. You're talking about a great point guard, maybe the best ever to play in the ACC.
Zwicker fouls out of the ball game, 10 points, 5 rebounds. And I tell you what, his points were very important early, and he did a good defensive job on Tim Duncan.
Fans missed it, but he definitely hooked him, Mike, and he grabbed him and held his shirt.
Duncan is now only 3 out of 8 from the line tonight, and his free throw troubles continue. The lead's back to 12.
Let's see, we're going to run a trap. Just going to look for the diagonal, man. Post up to the basketball. We're going to run and jump. Something North Carolina innovated. Dean Smith. Oh, there's the diagonal. There's the diagonal. And there's the wide open Jamison. And he finalizes it. Slapping a high five. And Franklin Street is going to rock and roll tonight.
Wake Forest does not have the individual quickness to go after North Carolina. Aminette trying to put pressure on a baseline drive. Elijah with a rebound.
Wake made that one run, but it's been all North Carolina basically all night long.
Carter
should have given it up. Should have given it up. Jamison was wide open. Jamison was wide open. Carter missed him. He missed one of his 3 Musketeer buddies. There's Shaman kicking it out. And there's the catch by Jamison. And there's the jam. All ACC and All-American candidate. Made my top 10.
Coming up next on The Deuce, the 1988 Final Four. Do you remember who was in it? Dick, do you remember?
1988? Sure. That was Danny Manning and company. That was Kansas and Oklahoma. That was a Big 8 special. That was Danny and the Miracles led by Larry Brown, a North Carolina guy. What else you want to know?
I'm sorry I asked. It's Duke against Kansas and Arizona against Oklahoma.
Oh, I thought you wanted the final.
No, I said who was in the Final Four. You got to pay attention to the
question. I was thinking about the final. You're right. So I'll give you who won.
It's like they say on those tests, read all the instructions before you open the book.
That's why I was a poor student. I failed everything. I try to pass on to my girls, though, to be like their mother, not like their father.
Foul with 1:22 to go, and right now it's a free throw shooting contest. If the score holds, North Carolina would go to 18-6 overall, 8-5 in the ACC, and Wake Forest would fall to 20-4, 9-4 in the ACC, and the Duke Blue Devils would be all alone in first
one thing, it's also redemption time for North Carolina, as they were humiliated in that first matchup, beaten by 24 by Tim Duncan and company.
Rutland fouls out. Not a vintage game for him, although he had 18 points. Many of them were after the game had actually been decided.
You know, you're Jeff Jones now. You're sitting there with 5 wins, and what do you get as a treat? You get a hungry Wake Forest team, a team that's been hurt, and it's cut time for them now. They got to regroup, they got to sit down, and they got to get back, as you said, some momentum in a positive way coming down the stretch. Ricky Stokes was a fine point guard. You know, you talk about great point guards. I said go forward. What about John Lucas at Maryland? He was a great point guard. What about Bobby Hurley? You talk about a true definition of a point guard. Bob Hurley during his era had too.
Just the way Wojciechowski is now.
Wojciechowski's such a tough competitor.
Hammond for 3. The three-point shot has not been there for Wake Forest tonight. 1:13 to go, a 16-point lead.
Wake has broken down in the games that I've seen lately of them. They have broken down defensively. They're not playing the kind of defense. But again, as Davey Odom shared with me, he said, you know, in this league, everybody knows your tendencies. They know everything you do. And it's really so difficult to execute and get the things you want, both offensively and defensively. But that works 2 ways. So look at that staff, loyalty. If you had to give a loyalty award out, what about one for Bill Guthrie? Been here for years on that sideline with Dean Smith, Mike. We talk about loyalty, and Guthridge has turned down so many jobs to stay right there as you look at Bill.
He's doing what he loves.
Loves it. Loves the university.
Braswell, nice stop and go move. He'll draw the foul. Wake Forest, when you looked 2 weeks ago at their remaining schedule, you thought maybe they had a chance to run it out, but now they're in some trouble. They have to go to Virginia on Saturday. I'll be there for that one. Then they finish up against Georgia Tech, a team that has struggled mightily this year.
Well, they should win those 2 games. I mean, personnel-wise, and, you know, really, you look at their club with Duncan, they should win those 2 basketball games, though it will not be easy, certainly, at Virginia. They should beat Georgia Tech at home.
Braswell hits the free throw. Only 1:01 left in the game. They were down by 24, got as close as 7, but very often, Dick, when you make those big comeback runs, you just don't have enough left to get over the top.
You really exhaust yourself.
Shammond Williams has developed himself into a decent ball handler. He used to scare people to death when he dribbled.
Handles it really well.
Look at the death march that North Carolina will have left on their remaining schedule.
I know. I was talking to them today, and you said, look at this, Maryland, at Clemson. And they finish up at home with a school, I can't think of its name. It's about 8 miles down the road from here.
It starts with a D.
Yeah, and it ends in E. And if you spotted me to D and E, I still couldn't spell it.
And then they go to the ACC tournament, and they get to face somebody more than likely right now. Either Maryland would be the most likely candidate if they are seeded 5th.
Well, there's a push on a lane. Jamison trying to get inside.
Not a good foul by Jamison.
You know, last game they knocked down 9 threes. They had a number of guys in double figures. They dominated. They had that bounce, that struck. Fell behind tonight, Wake, and it's been North Carolina. They've been the best club here today.
Corral has not even looked at the basket. There he had a free 15-footer from the baseline and was looking to make the pass.
Yeah, he's really struggled in terms of his offense this year.
I think there are many times where you can be too unselfish, and I think Ricky Corral is doing that right now.
He's trying to make it up by being a good defensive player and all, but he's got to give him some scoring.
The crowd of more than 22,000 comes to its feet. They have seen their Tar Heels do the job tonight.
Yeah, it's been all North Carolina. This team was 0-3, baby. They're not 0-3 now, Mike. They're not 0-3 now in the conference. They are hot.
Vince Carter with 25 points, a career high.
21 in the first half. Got fouled with 2 seconds to go. You know, some people say Jamison at the next level will have a problem because of the shooting ability. I think he's going to be a heck of a player because he runs the court so well. And that next level blows my mind. How they can fire Brian Hill is absolutely a joke. As we see right here, everybody leaving. Dean Smith with another W, baby. Another W. And there's a look at the All-Americans.
Final score, North Carolina 74, Wake Forest 60. For Dick Vitale and our entire ESPN crew, this is Mike Patrick. Thanks for watching, everybody. Coming up, the 1988 NCAA Final Four. This has been a presentation of ESPN. The